Hello students, in all my years of teaching math, I have noticed one common mistake students make. They rush to the toughest problems and completely forgot to master the basics. And guess what? That is exactly where examiners trick you and steal your marks. Welcome back to Maths Made Easy. Today we are starting an ultimate polynomial series, the basics and verifications. In this video, we are going to secure your mark 1 and 2 questions. We will learn how to find the zeros of quadratic equations, how to verify the relationship between zeros and coefficients, and how to quickly check if a number is factor. Grab your pen and notebooks, write polynomials at the top of your page, and let's build a foundation so strong that no board exam can shake it. Let's get started. First of all, we have to discuss some key points that will help us to strong our foundation. First is the degree. The highest power of x in an equation is its degree. If I talk about a quadratic equation, then the highest power of x in that equation is 2. Then the degree of equation will be 2. Next is the 0. A 0 of polynomial is simply the value of x that makes the whole equation equals to 0. If I put any value in place of x and after placing the value, that equation become equals to 0, then we can say that value is a 0 for that equation. Next is the graph. If I draw a graph of any equation, then what is exactly 0 is on a graph? It is simply that point where the graph line cuts the x-axis. If I say any curve touches or cuts the x-axis in 2 points, then the zeros of equation will be 2. And also, if I say the equation has degree 2, then the number of zeros will also be 2. So, I can say degree is equals to number of zeros is equals to the number of points where the graph cuts the x-axis. The golden relationship between the zeros and the coefficient of the equation. The standard form of a equation, quadratic equation, is ax square plus bx plus c. Here, a is coefficient of x square, b is coefficient of x, and c is a constant. If I say alpha and beta are zeros of this equation, then the sum of 0, the first relation, the sum of 0 means alpha plus beta is equals to minus b over a, means minus coefficient of x over coefficient of x square. Next relation is product of zeros, alpha into beta is equals to constant over a coefficient of x square, means c over a. Now look at this simple and interesting question. The question is saying for what value of k is 2 a 0 of a polynomial 2x square plus x plus k. The question is asking that if 2 is a 0 of polynomial, then the value of k is. So we know the value of x is a 0 that makes the whole equation equals to 0. So we will put the value of x, that is a 0, and place the whole equation equals to 0 and calculate the value of k. Px is equals to 2x square plus x plus k. If 2 is a 0 of this polynomial, then P2 will be 0. Then put the value of 0, 2 and 2 square plus 2 plus k is equals to 0. And isolate the k. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 2 plus k equals to 0. 8 plus 2 is 10 plus k equals to 0. Now we have to isolate the k, then by balancing subtracting 10 from both sides. From both sides we get 10 plus k minus 10 equals to 0 minus 10. Then these 10s will be cancelled out and here will remains the minus 10. And we can say the value of k is minus 10 if 2 is a 0 of this polynomial. Now look at this slightly tricky and very easy and basic question. Find the zeros of quadratic equation 9t square minus 6t plus 1 and verify the relationship between the zeros and coefficients. Now let pt. Now our variable is t, then we will let pt equals to 9t square minus 6t plus 1. If you look closer, then you find this equation is in the form of a formula of a minus b whole square is equals to a square minus 2ab plus b square. Now I can see 3t minus 1 whole square is equals to this whole equation. To find zeros, pt equals to 0. Then we can say 3t minus 1 whole square is equal to 0. Then we know 3t minus 1 times 3t minus 1 equals to 0. Now we know that if product of two numbers is equals to 0, then one of those numbers is equals to 0 or also they both can be equals to 0. So if I take 3t minus 1 equals to 0, then the value of t is 1 by 3. Let's look at this calculation closely. And another 3t minus 1 equals to 0, you know the value will come as the same because the numbers are same. We have two same zeros for the equation 9t square minus t6t plus 1. Now for verification, we have to verify the relationship between coefficients and zeros. Our two zeros is 1 over 3 and 1 over 3 also. First, sum of zeros is 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3 is equals to 2 over 3. And by relationship, by formula, we will know minus b over a. The equation is value of minus b is equals to minus 6 over a is 9. Then minus going to be cancelled out and 6 over 9 will be equals to 2 by 3. The answer is verified. Next, product of zeros. One by 3 times 1 by 3 is equals to 1 by 9 by formula. C over a. Our value of c is 1 and value of a is 9, and this is also verified. Now look at this question. Find the zeros of quadratic equation 3x squared minus 2 and verify the relationship between zeros and coefficients. First, we have to find the zeros for this equation and After that, we will verify the relationship between zeros and coefficient with our golden formulas. First of all, let Ex equals to 3x square minus 2. Now we have to find the values of zeros. So, for finding zeros, we should place Ex equals to 0. 3x square minus 2 equals to 0. Then, after balancing the equation, add 2 to the both sides, and we get 3x squared equals to 0. Because if we add the 2, then minus 2 and plus 2 will be cancelled out, and here the 2 will remain. So 3x squared is equals to 2. And we have to isolate the x, then divide by 3 both sides. Remember, which changes we want, then we have to do that change to our both sides. Then the balancing method will work. We can say x squared is equals to 2 by 3. Now, we have to replace this square. Then we have to take square root to the both sides. Then root and square will be cancelled out, and here root 2 by 3 will remain are 0. And we can say this is plus or be minus. Then we have our two zeros, x equals to root 2 by 3 and also x equals to minus root 2 by 3. Now it's time to verify our zeros. For verification, we have two formulas. The one of them is sum of zeros is equals to zeros root 3 plus minus 2 by 3 is equals to 0, because this is plus root 2 by 3 and this is minus root 2 by 3, and they both will be cancelled out, and answer is 0. By formula we know minus b over a, then minus, and the value of b means the coefficient of x is 0. Then a is 3. 0 over 3 is equals to 0. Then it is also verified. Next, product of zeros is equals to root 2 by 3 times minus root 2 by 3 is equals to minus 4 by 9 and equal to minus 2 by 3. Now by formula, c over a, and our c is minus 2 and over a is 3, as this is also verified. Now let's look at this tricky question. If x plus root 2 is a factor of this equation, then the value of k is. We calculate the 0 by putting the whole equation equals to 0, and then we find the factors and put all factors equals to 0 and find all the zeros of that equation. Now we know the factor of this equation, then we put this factor direct equals to 0 and find the one of our 0 that will satisfy the equation to make it equal to 0. Let's answer it. if x plus root 2 is a factor of kx square minus root 2x plus 1, then the zero of this equation is x plus root 2 is equals to 0 and x is equals to minus root 2. This is our 0 for this equation. Now we put the value of 0 and calculate the value of k. By putting the value of 0, k minus root 2 whole square minus root 2 and minus root 2 plus 1 equals to 0, because this is a 0. Now here square of minus 2 is equals to 2. Here minus minus will be plus, and once again square of root 2 is 2 plus 1 equals to 0. Now we know 2 plus 1 is 3 and we have to take it to the other side. Then we have to subtract 3 from both sides. Then k2 equals to minus 3, and then we have to take this 2 to the other side. Now divide both sides by 2. Now k is equals to minus 3 over 2. Now the value of k is minus 3 over 2. I hope you understand whole procedure. Now let's go to the next question. Now this is a last question of our this series. The parabola representing a quadratic polynomial fx equals to ax square plus bx plus c opens downward, and when opens downward, the parabola is the shape like U. This is the shape of parabola. If it opens upward, then when the A is positive, it opens downward when the A is negative. So the question says opens downward, then the answer is option A. When the A is negative, the parabola will open downwards. It is a wrap on basics and verifications. You now know exactly how to find zeros, verify relationships, and tackle those tricky 1-mark basic questions. Remember, these basic questions are the warm-up for bigger battles. I want you to open your NCERT book right now and practice at least 2 verification questions by yourself to lock this concept in your brain. If this video make the basics of polynomial easy for you, please hit that like button, share it with your classmates, or subscribe to Maths Made Easy. Now today's question of the day is, what is the shape of a quadratic polynomials graph called? Let me know in comments. Then keep learning, keep practicing, and keep growing. Thank you.